Well, welcome back to the channel, everybody. I've had a special invite today to take part in a group ride with some up-and-coming talent in Welsh cycling. We're going to be doing a quote-unquote fun Amstel Gold style training route today. It should take about 4 hours, a bunch of climbs that are going to be ridden at tempo, and then like a race type finish at the end. So I'm going to roll with the GoPro. I've got another one here. Maybe we can throw that in the team car that's going to be following us. That'll be decent as well. But yeah, let's go and see what's happening. So before we get out onto the wet roads today, we need to have a discussion about what is in store for us on this ride. I'm sure you would have seen a lot of pro teams nowadays. They have, PowerPoint presentations for what's coming up in the race. But now, the likes of Welsh cycling and Great Britain, for example, they will have the same sort of thing even for training sessions when it comes to camps and when it comes to, group training rides like this. I'm feeling very, very lucky to be invited to be a part of this ride, mainly because, a lot of these riders, these youth riders, we hear now, just how strong they are. You see the peloton, you see the Remco Evenepoels, you see the Pogacars, you see these riders who are in their mid-20s, early 20s, and just destroying the pro pelotons. And I think it's no fluke that the strength of younger riders is becoming more and more evident and more common. And I think a lot of it is down to the efficiency and the development at this level. So I feel very lucky to have this insight today. So please give the video a thumbs up for all the work that's going on by Welsh Cycling and John Holt, who is leading this ride today as coach, following in the team car in those heated, lovely heated seats. But John, in all seriousness, we go way back. And, I'll tell you a little bit about sort of the Wales Pathway program as well, if you're interested in hearing how things like this work. And if you're a junior rider, if you're a young rider, if you're coming up now to that age where you're like, I really want to take this to another level, then maybe this is a video for you to get an insight into that. So what we end up doing on this ride is a 115 kilometer route. We're taking in some of the more famous climbs in the area. We have them listed to see before we go out so that we know exactly where we're going and what we're going to be doing. This obviously helps preparation. So we have Bont, we have the Black Mountain, which is a huge climb in the local area. We have the Amel Valley Mountain Road. We have Golden Grove, which takes us into Carmel, and basically back to the finishing circuit where we're going to have a little race at the end. And I'm going to leave that footage there for you to watch as well, because, well, I won't tell you what happens, but it's a typical race situation. Lots of attacks. You love it. So we have to focus on fueling throughout. And like I said, at the end of the ride, we'll hit the rolling roads of a local racing circuit and we will be open for attacks. So the route is really lumpy, about 2,000 meters of climbing over this whole course, and most of the climbs in the region of 15 minutes in length, although some are shorter. Now, the riders on this ride is a mix of abilities, I suppose, but also a mix of ages. Most people are around the 14 to 16 to 17, 18, 14 to 17, let's call them, age range. And also very, very strong. A lot of these riders have been riding, for a good few years already. Maybe some of them have come up through local cycling clubs. But yeah, they've all turned up for this ride today and braved the weather, which, as you can see, is typical Welsh weather. Now, I know someone's going to comment, so I'm going to mention it now, but you can see some riders are not wearing any gloves. You know what I'm going to say about that. I was obviously wearing gloves. In fact, I had another pair of dry gloves with me in my back pocket, just in case. Not to worry though, everyone did have extra layers in the team car behind, and they were managed to change, or rather add layers, after a certain amount of time. So there was no kind of technical training aspect today where, you know, we were going back to the car and we were grabbing bottles and bringing them up, or like, you know, putting rain capes on the move, or you know, what else is there, like whatever you can think. There was none of that today because, you know, obviously conditions were quite rough, quite challenging, so we just wanted to get through and be safe and like fuel and get to the end and have a little bit of a race, have a little bit of fun, because I think, you know, for riders at this age as well, it's important to keep things fun and to keep motivation high, keep morale high, because when they get to the end, they really want to give it the beat. So the riders that are on the Wales Pathway programme, really the aims of that is to develop riders to progress onto maybe British cycling programmes, which I'm sure you've heard of, professional cycling teams maybe, like, you know, Josh Tarling, for example, of Ineos Grenadiers, and or achieve world-class performances at Commonwealth Games for, you know, the likes of, well, the Welsh team. So the pathway sessions, like this session, like this road session we're out on today, is really like there's a wide range of development activities for these riders. So there's not just the road rides, there's also track sessions. Sometimes these will be, you know, morning and afternoon sessions on the same day. These usually take place up in Newport, where of course, you know, Welsh cycling is based. And obviously the Geraint Thomas velodrome is there too. Training camps, closed road circuit sessions, longer road rides through the mountains like today, and workshops as well, with Sport Wales support also being available. And if riders want to get onto these academies, usually online application goes out in September, or, you know, really late in the year, I suppose the end of the season. But of course, you know, coaches attend any of these big races in the UK, the national series, the championships, the regional races, training sessions even, and they watch for how riders are performing, how they're involved in the race, and, you know, attitude on and off the bike. I think off the bike is quite an important one as well. And of course race results, and now as well, like power profiles, and then selection will be made later in the year. And to give you an example actually of kind of like performance metrics, because that is still something that I get asked a lot about actually by young riders, is like, you know, what, like how do you know if I'm good enough to be part of it, or like what's the benchmarks I should be aiming for? And of course nowadays we all have the ability to compare ourselves with the power profile and the power curves to, you know, other riders, you know, especially us adults. It's always maybe riders in our age group or weight category or whatever. But these young riders, these youth riders and junior riders, there can be standards. Some of these are on the track, and I was actually sent an example to be on the level for junior academy. You're looking at a power test for a 3-minute effort to be in the range of 7 watts per kilo for 3 minutes. And for argument's sake, peak power, you're looking at like 18.5 watts per kilo. Riders are strong, but don't be put off by that. I think a lot of riders can be late bloomers, and like myself, I think, you know, we may not find our strengths until maybe we hit 20, 21 or 22 years of age. So as a side note, never give up. We finished up with the little race simulation at the end, so I'm going to leave you with some of the footage of that. Watch as we hit each other hard, we attack on some of the little bergs, we let a rider go, we try to work a bit of a chain gang formation to pull that rider back, and then watch till the end as I puncture with about 800 meters left until the actual finish. But I'm going to leave you with some stats from a rider who was on this ride, who made it to the end and managed a strong finishing effort. We're looking close to 9 watts per kilo for the final minute effort from this junior rider, and that's after 4 hours of, you know, fairly hard riding for these riders, like tempo climbs, threshold climbs. So it's a really strong effort in my book. Okay, ride done. I didn't realise I looked in such a state. My hands are all shriveled. So happy I was invited, regardless of the weather, because it rained non-stop for 4 straight hours. And it must be a pretty guilty feeling for those who were sat in the car following us in the heated seats and just all dry and warm and comfortable. But no, it was really good. I enjoyed it. So I'm gonna try and spend the next week now warming up and drying everything off. I'll see you in the next video.